walk through life carrying fear. Not because they've done something wrong, but because no one ever told them they have rights. When you don't know the law, even ordinary life can feel like a risk. That's why we build Know Your Rights Foundation, a place where the law becomes clear, simple, and yours. Knowledge is your shield. The law is your defense. Start learning today at KYRF.org.
What's going on, people? I know it's a surprise live stream here. We're testing some stuff out. This is a new podcast called the LawCast to be streamed on both channels, on the Know Your Rights Foundation channel and the Real Nagas channel. Just starting it here to get you guys going. But man, we got to get you guys in the law, period, man. That's just how it is. And I know you guys think I'm the only one in Know Your Rights Foundation because I've been the only one who's been promoting it for the last 5 years or so. But there are more people in Know Your Rights Foundation than myself. And we're going to introduce you to those people, show you how dope the law is, how easy it is to learn. It's not that hard to learn, and how much it changes you once you're able to learn it. How much it changes your confidence, changes pretty much everything. Once you are able to understand how everything works in society, but also you're able to gain that power over police officers, something that our community has thought has been oppressing us since the beginning of time. And like I said, I say only thought because we've always had the power to overcome it, just with knowledge, information. We chose not to seek this information out. I don't know why. Some of it was kept away from us for sure, but the information was there. All we had to do was seek it out. But now we have it. We're doing this in the Know Your Rights Foundation. So I'm bringing some people here to show you guys what's going on, and we're going to have a conversation with you guys because later on I'm going to put in a link for you guys to join, so you can join the conversation. When I put in the link, make sure you don't step to the stage with no bull crap. You understand? We're keeping this respectful. This is Know Your Rights Foundation LawCast. This is not Real Nagas. So don't come on here disrespectful, crazy. I'm still me. I'm still Kev. But again, this is so we can get this information out to the people. So appreciate you guys for showing up. Who's up in here? Christopher Perkins. I see you first up in here. King Tony, Demarius, excuse me, Demarius Willis, Kissed by the Sun, Keisha P. What up, Miss Jeannie? More clarity. I see you, Neon Black. Hood Politics Entertainment. I see you. What's popping? What is that? Free Thought 94. He says, well, I guess I won't come. Well, you guess you won't come. Yeah, you will. Cron White, Ellison Gray. I see you put it big. I see you put it on large. I got you. Ellison Gray. Big up. Dwayne Hutchinson. Miss Jeannie, when I put this link in here, you better bring your butt up in here. She's one, Miss, just so you know, people in the chat, Miss Jeannie is also in the Know Your Rights Foundation. She's killing it. Because she has come 180,000 degrees from when she first started. So she's one of our success stories of someone who didn't know anything about the law. When I tell you she didn't know anything about the law, I mean she didn't know a damn thing about the law. And then, sure enough, we brought her in and she's killing it and she's smashing right now. So appreciate her and everybody else in the Know Your Rights Foundation. So that's our producer we got there, Satora. We about to bring to the stage. So, hey, Satora, what's going on, girl?
Nothing much. Peace, everyone. No, I'm not supposed to be on stage, but I'm glad to be here.
She's one of the dopest in Know Your Rights Foundation, so she's definitely supposed to be on the stage. So how you doing? Just introduce yourself to the people real quick and let them know what brought you to the law.
Well, I'm good. I've been loving the law for a long time. So, of course, when I saw an organization like Know Your Rights Foundation, I had to join. So I've been a member for quite a few years now. I'm not a newbie, but what made me join is, again, just seeing a foundation organization like this, we all got to be a part of it. So I'm just here.
Appreciate you, girl. And she's off the chain with the tech game. So she's she's our Tony Stark up in here. So appreciate you, girl. So Tora Stark. And next we bringing up, we got Eugene. Eugene, come to the stage. Can we see Eugene? Where you at, Eugene? What up, brother? Your mic is muted. You gotta unmute. There you go.
Good, right? Yeah, okay.
What's going on, brother? Eugene Bailey, how you doing, bro? So introduce yourself to the people and let them know what brought you to the law, man.
All right. Well, my name is Eugene Bailey, and I've been curious about the law for a long time. And I think it started when I worked for a patent firm in D.C. called Dyke & McGossett. And I was with some of the paralegals there and some of the law clerks. And after we've had some good conversations, they're the ones who kind of got me started. So I took a paralegal course a few years back and graduated with honors, I must say. But that kind of got me on the road. And what got me to the point where I really wanted to contend with law enforcement, I had a few run-ins with some rogue police officers. So at that point, it wasn't a vindictive move, but it was one of those moves where you say, that's not going to happen again.
There you go. And you're Aries. You're Aries too. So once somebody get over on us, it's not happening ever again.
It's only a one deal thing. You know what I mean?
That's right, baby. Aries Nation.
That's right.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate you for showing up. Thank you, brother.
Right. All right. Peace.
And next we have Ayana. She's been I've talked about her quite a bit. She's the one in the video screaming, "Know your rights," doing something that she wasn't supposed to do. Isn't that right, Ayana? No, I'm just kidding. Huh?
I don't answer questions.
I don't answer questions. There you go. No, that was great. That was a great comeback. I don't answer questions. There you go. But yeah, people love you. People love your enthusiasm in the video that we showed your police stop. Utilizing the constitutional rights card and the qualified immunity cards. So that was a good little stop to show what they can do. So introduce yourself to the people and let them know what brought you to the law. There you go. Can you hear? Can you hear? You're muted.
No, the interesting thing about that stop is that I was kind of scared a little bit. I know you can't tell by the way I was behaving. However, I was quite frazzled because I knew I was wrong, guys. I was speeding. I was definitely speeding. And so to my shock,
we're not going to keep doing that, right? We're not going to keep doing that.
No, I've definitely learned my lesson. We're driving Miss Daisy from that moment forward, right?
Yes.
But thank goodness for those cards. Kevin, these cards that you give us, they are really protecting us because you pull these cards out and the officers don't want anything to do with them. Or you, for that matter.
No, they want to. A bully always wants to mess with the one that's not going to fight back. That's bully 1-on-1. Bully 1-on-1.
Yeah,
that's what the person who's not going to fight back. So, man, appreciate your enthusiasm. Exactly. You guys don't know what we're talking about. Where was it in? It's somewhere. Is this it? No, where is it? Where's the video? Did she take the video? Where's the video? What happened to the video? You took it down? Oh, she took it down.
She took the video now.
Satora, did you take the video? Satora, did you take the video down?
No, unfortunately, the video was only on your channel, but we'll move on.
Oh, it's only on my channel. Oh,
sorry, Ayana.
It's all good. No, no, that's my bad. It's only on my channel. But when she can put it up, we'll put it up there. Also, we have coming to the stage, we have brother LR. What's up, brother LR?
What's good, Kev? What's good?
How you doing, brother?
Oh, brother.
Man, Brother LR is one of the shining stars also in Know Your Rights Foundation, but refuses to take all the steps. But he's one of the dopest. See, when you're one of the dopest, you can kind of maneuver around.
I appreciate that. You know, I'm a man of you know, I stay busy. But I tell you this, much gratitude into the stuff that you know, you sharing the knowledge, breaking us off with the knowledge of the law. I wish a lot more of our people, not just our people, but people on this land on Turtle Island in general would take the time to learn this stuff, because it will do nothing but benefit you in the long run. You know,
absolutely. What brought you to the law, bro? Let them know.
Well, you know, I give a little bit of background. You know, I've seen a lot of stuff in my life with regard to people being mistreated, and it angered me, especially. I guess mine started with the Tamir Rice incident. And,
that got me too.
And it triggered me, and I said, well, the only way to be able to fight back is one of two ways. You know, you can go at them with a knife and a gun and try to, you know, go at them, or you can use your mind. And
absolutely,
that's the best way to do it anyway, is to go at it with your mind, because that's where your power lies.
Absolutely.
And you hit them in the pocket.
There you go. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, you hit them in the pocket, and that affects their ability to eat, brother.
Yes, it does.
If you know how to do it right, you know, because I'm known for you know, my favorite saying is, do you have a 1-car garage or a 2-car garage?
And people don't understand that you can get back at police officers. They don't know that you can do that. So
but I don't hate all of them. I don't hate all cops. I'm gonna say that right now. Not as much as I used to. I think they were all dirty, and then I started looking at some of the videos. And I got family that's police. I have relatives that are police too, so I can't say I hate all of them, because I got family members that are in law enforcement. And so I eventually got to a point to where I said, you know, I got to be balanced in the way that I approach this thing, because not all of them are bad, and some of them actually are fair. A lot of them, a great majority of them are fair, but they are, when it comes to dealing with those bad ones, though, you got to know how to smack them down.
Yes, you do.
You know, and I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about by using this.
There you go.
And so instead of these, or instead of, well, I ain't gonna show them on the camera, but don't trying to get nobody, trying to get demonetized, brother.
There you go, baby. Just keep it on the low. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But the thing is that you once you learn that it once you accept that it's a mind game, you learn how to play by the rules, and you can have them for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
There you go. Man, thank you for showing up, brother.
I appreciate it, brother. As always, you know, from the time I came in, much gratitude to what, you know, the knowledge that you've been breaking off to us, and I'm honored to on a weekly basis to over the past, how long has it been now, kid? What 4 or 5 years now?
But I've been doing it for close to 6 years. Almost 6
I think
years.
I got it maybe about 4 years now. I think it's
right.
Been about
you've been here about 4 years.
It's been an honor, and to see how to know that how I've grown and matured as far as in my legal knowledge.
There you go.
And I appreciate it, and I'm happy to be here amongst those that are interested in that that want to take this journey with us in improving humanity overall, because this it's been more than just learning the law. It actually been more of a mind exercise than anything else, rather than having to just get angry and want to smash on folks. So
thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. We got
what's up?
Last one coming to the stage. We have one of the teachers of the Know Your Rights Foundation. This is Brother Mel. Mel hates being on camera. Always.
Oh,
Say something. Say what's up, brother Mel. You don't have echo cancellation on your thing, do you?
I guess.
Introduce yourself and let people know
What
brought you to the law.
What brought me to the law? How much time do we have?
Introduce yourself first.
Okay. Brother Mel, one of the teachers at the Know Your Rights Foundation. How much time do we have? Because you asked me a question about what brought me to the law.
Yes. Make it quick though. You ain't got to make it long. Just make it quick. You know, keep it brief.
Well, you know, we go back a little ways, and
God classes.
Yep. And you asked the question, and that question turned into this. That's the quick way about it. And if anybody had told me that I'd be back teaching classes, I would have told them, whatever you're smoking, it must be some good stuff. Because never thought in a million years I'd be back teaching, but I'd be doggone if I ain't doing it again.
Well, I'm sure the people appreciate it. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it myself, because our students, you know better than anybody, they keep us on our toes.
Yes, they do.
And it's never a dull moment. Every time I think that they're going to go this way on a particular issue, they take it the other way around. And I think that this is what they're going to jump on and they're going to want to spend an hour on. They don't say anything about it. It's the stuff that you think that they're not going to jump on. That's what they want to jump on and break down to the bone bristle and go everywhere with. So right. It's always different, but yeah, it's fun. It's been challenging and it's been rewarding, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.
So just want to jump to the reason that we're doing this podcast is, again, to introduce the law to most of you guys, show you that, first of all, that it's more than just me in the Know Your Rights Foundation, because I know I'm the only one that promotes it most of the time. And so you only see me, you think ain't nobody in that shit, but yes, and there's more people, and we're all in here working, mashing out. It's a bunch of people in here. It's a whole lot of people in the Know Your Rights Foundation, learning the law, gaining confidence on how to assert their rights against police officers when their constitutional rights are violated. So we brought that to you guys. We want to show you guys it's not hard. A lot of people have a problem signing up because they think it's so hard to learn the law, and it's not. It really isn't, especially when you have a group of people who's learning it with you. And so basically you have like you're speaking, you're in a nation. You're basically like in a nation that speaks a certain language, and you're just diving into that. You're indulging in that language. And so when you come out of it, you're going to be fully versed in that language. And basically law is a language. This is one thing I want to get across to a lot of people. A lot of people think the law is all the stuff that you need to learn and remember, and you will. But basically the law really is just a language. You've heard of the term legalese, and that's really what the law is, legalese. So most people don't understand that the term that you speak on an everyday basis is not what you will hear in the courtroom. And this is how they get you, because you're speaking a completely different language when you're in the courtroom. To give you an example, the word appear, the term appear, most of you think the term appear means to be seen, right? I'm showing I'm going to be seen. So when you get something called a notice to appear, and when you get a ticket, when you pulled over by a traffic stop or something like that, and they give you something called a notice to appear, you think, oh, I just need to be seen. I need to show up to the court to be seen. That's not what it is. The term appear in law, the legal term, means to legally or to formally submit yourself to the jurisdiction of the court. So when you appear, or when you sign something called a notice to appear, you have literally just given up all of your rights to the court without any challenge. And the reason they do that is because they see so many people in court a day. Like a judge will see sometimes 100 people in court that day. And that's not an exaggeration, 100 people. So if they had to gain jurisdiction over every person that entered the court, it would clog the court up. So they have to gain jurisdiction over you before you enter the court. And that's by getting you to sign legal documents that you don't know what they mean. You don't understand. And so this is why you need to learn the law, because the law is speaking a completely different language than you are. And if you don't know it, then you're going to be caught up by it. So this is one of the main reasons that we started Know Your Rights Foundation as well. We started the podcast because there's a lot of topics going on, a lot of things that we need to discuss as far as the law, police states, and things like that. And we're doing that in the Know Your Rights Foundation, but we need to expand that conversation out to you guys.
Right.
Because it's really dire for you guys to know this stuff now. So, all right. So, so the first thing we want to get into is, are Black people or melanated people, are they scared of the police? Now, I know most melanated people, we want to be all gangster and brave, and I ain't scared of nothing. I ain't scared. What you talking? I ain't scared of nothing. But when you see that lights going behind you, you see that black and white. Don't tell me your heart don't drop to your butt. I know, not everybody. We gonna say everybody. I would say though, 9 out of 10 melanated people, when you see them lights, you see that black and white car or a black and white car traveling together. And you look in the rearview mirror and it's a black and white car traveling back to back, and it looks like a black and white car. I know damn well your heart drops to your butt. So our melanated
they hear that whoop, whoop.
Exactly. so hold on a second. So let me so brother Mel, start you off since you got your mic open. Are Black people scared of the police?
Those that do not know the law and in usual regular everyday probably are. Even the ones that do know the law, especially the ones that think they know the law, probably are more apprehensive to them than they like to admit. I think that's the best way to put it.
Wait, say it. So explain yourself. Go further. What do you mean?
Well, what I mean by that is people that think they know the law, they may want to, so I guess, flex their knowledge. And then if they only know so much in that particular situation, they say what they know, and then they get to a point that they don't know, then it's like, and they're lost. And then it's downhill from there. Other people, if they do know or they have an idea of what it is or what they think it is or what they feel it is, they'll go on that. And Black people or melanated people, the way that most cops will approach you is they'll try to put you in what we call the trick bag. And they do that by getting you to get emotional and get off on tangents that may or may not have anything to do with the actual situation at hand. So long as they can keep your mouth running, got a better chance of you saying something you ain't got no business saying and getting yourself in deeper hot water.
Okay. All right. Ayana, what say you? Do you think melanated people are scared of the police?
Absolutely. I'm guilty too. Only because historically, what I'm not gonna go there, but I'm just gonna say that in the past, my experiences with law enforcement as like a teenager growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, especially Euclid, the area of Euclid, if anybody know from Cleveland how Euclid Police Department was in the 90s, it was like they had their own country. You could have just pulled out your driveway and they were on you. They'll pull you over, take you to jail, make up charges, and it sticks. So my take on police has always been like an anxiety type of a thing just because of the very first jump out, you know. And so having that said, I believe collectively, especially for melanated men, there has been a target on your backs for quite some time. And if you do have any type of anxiety or fears or whatever, today is a new day. You don't have to feel like that anymore. If you watch my video that Kevin has on his channel, you will see it's a whole new day. It's a new ball game. So we don't have to live in fear anymore. It's so funny because I drive around now and I see them all the time, and it's just like it's like Zen mode. I'm like too cool. I'm too cool for school, okay? Because they don't bother me anymore. Thank you, Kev.
All right.
And the Know Your Rights Foundation.
We're glad that the law could remove that fear from you. Somebody said fear is not a bad thing.
False evidence appearing real.
I don't know if I would say that. Fear is a very low vibration. Now, I get it's needed because it alerts you to danger. However, fear should not run your life. You should not be run by fear. Fear is an alerter to information. It's about information.
That part.
So, all right, LR. Everybody, when you're not muted, make sure you mute your mic so people can hear. So LR, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Black people scared of the popo?
I would say absolutely. A great majority, yes. A great majority, yes. Because I don't like to speak in absolutes. But I will say a great majority, yes, and that's because it takes me back to the story.
Can you get closer to the mic a little bit? Get your mic closer.
Hear me?
Yeah, there you go. It's a little low. You on the Bluetooth. Oh, okay.
Can you let me take this off and see if it's better. Let me try it different.
It's all good. We can hear you. Go ahead, bro. We can hear you.
Okay. I would say to a certain extent, yes, but it takes me back to the story of what I told my son when he was younger. I said, and he had a friend that lived, directly next door. I said, let's say there was I told the story when they had it was a mountain lion that got loose in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And police and everything was trying to go out and catch it and everything. He said, well, Daddy, I'm scared. And he said, I said, well, there's nothing wrong with being scared, but you can't stay there. I said, so the only thing that really counts is fear is knowledge.
There you go. Yeah.
And I said, so I gave the example of, I said, okay. He said, well, I don't understand. I said, okay. If that mountain lion came here and you had a choice to run into our house, or you had to run into his friend's name was Nick. I said, or run into Nick's house. I said, whose house would you run into? He said, I go into our house. I said, why? He said, because I know where the hiding places are. And I know where to get stuff that I might be able to help fight it off. I said, what's that word again? You what? He said, I know. And I said, that's the key. Because when you know, the more you know, the less you have to fear it. It's not may not eliminate all of the fear, but because there's such a thing as a healthy amount of fear, but you don't let that override and govern your actions. You can't let that govern your actions, because that's when you act out of fear, emotion comes in, you start acting out of emotion, and when you're emotional, you can't think straight. It overrides everything. And so
yes,
you have to be able to think clearly and work your way through it. But the only way to do that is you have to get the knowledge of how to go about doing stuff, because half of these jokers, I'm gonna say a great 80-90% of these police, and I'm gonna say it, they don't know. They don't know the law.
They don't know you're right. They don't know the law. And but they count on you not knowing the law.
Exactly.
More than they don't know the law.
And I will say this too, Kev. The thing is this, even when I was younger, everybody had the Officer Friendly program. I grew up in the Big Greasy,
Mm-hmm.
Y'all figure it out. But the police weren't real bad. I won't say they were really bad, but you got to understand too, it's the energy that you go around carrying too, because If you walk around like you scared, you make yourself a target for that, because your energy, what you give off, it's sort of like when if they got these dogs around the neighborhood. Everybody grew up in the neighborhood where they got stray dogs or whatever. But if that dog can smell your fear or sense your fear, he gonna come at you, gonna get you. It's the
Right.
same way with anybody else, a crook on the street or the police.
The bully wants the weak person.
Exactly, they want the weak person.
They
So
want the punk.
exactly. So if you can demonstrate that, if your energy is on a certain level to where you're not exuding that fear, you're less likely to have that happen. Now, since I've been in here, and I don't want to jinx myself, I have had zero interactions because
That energy you exude.
right, even more so, and I'm walking around like, man, these mugs ain't pulling me over. I ain't getting pulled over. Nothing. I ain't
Yep.
get a chance to. But that's just the way. I mean, because it goes that way, because it's a confidence that you get once you start knowing this stuff, and it's refreshing to know that, hey, if this happens, I know how to handle it.
I know how to get down. All
I
right,
know how to get down with them.
let me get Eugene in here. Eugene,
Yes, sir.
black people scared of the popo, and where you at, in Carolina, North Carolina? They scared of the popo.
They definitely scared down here. But
come to your camera. Come on camera.
Yeah, let me make sure. Okay, there
you go.
So I was born and raised in the district. So I've had my fair share of run-ins with law enforcement on different types: park police, local cops, detectives, a whole nine. But I think my scariest period was when I moved out to Montgomery County, and that's in Maryland. But just to give you just a little quick story, I used to work at a nightclub, and I was dropping someone off, and they were out, kind of way out of Montgomery County, like out in the suburbs, the hick stuff. And I was coming onto what they call a T intersection, like a road just closes down to the highway. And I pulled out onto the highway. It's pitch black. I mean, you can see from one end to the horizon to the next. So this officer, the minute I made my turn, I'm on the highway. I wasn't even on that part of the highway for a hot second. All of a sudden, he lit me up. And this was before they had, we were still using pagers back then, you get me? So this was before we had cell phones and all of that. So the white cop pulls me over, and he comes up to the girl, and he says, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He said, "You almost hit me." So I said, "Hit you how?" I said, "I'm coming down the highway." So I look off to the left, and I look to the right. And like I said, it's pitch black. I can see, all the way to one end of the horizon to the next. So I'm thinking, okay, if you're coming down the road and you had your headlights on, there's no way I could miss you. So I already knew he was lying. But he put me through all his rigmarole stuff. Had me get out the car, asked me if I was drinking, talking about, it smells like this and that and the other. And I told him, look, I just left work. I was like a bartender there, but I didn't tell him that. He was asking me if I'm drinking. I smell alcohol, same stuff, right? So
the stuff you shouldn't say, I don't answer questions.
Yeah, this was before I knew that, right?
Okay.
So I just told him, say, look, I work at a club. I'm a table, like I reset tables, and I do the, back in the bar, dishes and all that other kind of stuff. And we have drinks and food spilled on our aprons and clothes all night. So, you're probably smelling that, but I don't drink. So he moves on for that. Then he says, well, you mind if I check your car to make sure? Now I knew enough to say, well, if there's really no legal reason for you to check, and no, I don't want you checking inside my vehicle. Then he said, well, if you don't have anything to hide, then you wouldn't mind that. I said, yeah, but there's no reason for you to check. And I knew enough to say that, Now this is a white cop. He's got me now. He's like, well, I need you to step out for a minute so I can. I said, well, you don't need to look at my car, and I'm not going to let you look at my vehicle. Now this was before we had car alarms, with the key fobs and all of that.
All right, speed it up, Eugene. We know. We know.
Okay. Well, all right, but the point of the matter is this: I can understand based on these experiences why we are afraid of them, because it's pitch black. Nobody's out there but him and I. He could have done anything. This was before camera phones and all of that. Right. It would have been his word against us, which is primarily what it always is. So when you have to deal with that.
Was this the 90s?
Yeah, this was in the 90s.
Yeah, 90s.
Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, right?
Okay.
So when you have to deal with these type of things, you're always going to have anxiety because the court's going to go on their side, whether they're telling the truth or not. They're going to go with them.
You're right. So, but the thing is, we even though now we have cameras and all, because I'm back in that time too. I remember that was the time when you couldn't. I mean, police officers could do anything. They had the right. I mean, they had carte blanche to do anything to the homies. You walked down. I mean, it was crazy. They would do stuff like they would jack you up, steal your weed, smoke it in front of you. They smoke it in front of you. And tell you want me to take you to jail or you want this weed? And then they sit there with you on the car as you hemmed up, smoke it in front of you, and then talk crazy. I mean, they would just do all kinds of stuff and just hem you up every day. So you're right. And that was before cameras. So I understand. But then after cameras, though, shouldn't we have gained some type of courage to be able to use the cameras, especially after what happened with Rodney King? Shouldn't we have been able to do that?
Yeah, we do.
Anybody can jump in on this.
Yeah, I feel like that body cams is paramount to checking that behavior. Now, some of them, they get slick when they can turn the camera off.
Well, that should be a rule that you. But yeah, and we know what that's for. That's so they can hide when they do we investigated ourselves. When they do that, we investigated ourselves. But we should have gotten more courage as we gained more technology. But it didn't go that way. It went backwards. What happened? What happened? What happened, LR?
Hey, that went to the wayside, brother. You know, I mean, just they have no incentive to really do it other than now the people holding them accountable. You know, and guess what? If they don't have a body cam, they don't have a camera on that's rolling on a vehicle, you gotta have one because you gotta be able to say that hey, anything you say, remember, can be used against you. And they can make up stuff, and the judge or whoever is gonna believe them, they by default they get to be the one that's believed. But if you got a camera that's rolling, not to mention the fact that my body cam was rolling, but we don't know what happened to the footage. You know that we don't know what happened. It got lost in the cloud somewhere.
Somehow.
Yeah,
somehow on that FOIA request.
The file got corrupted. But if you got your own.
So black people being scared of the police, basically you're saying is was what it was designed with, what police was designed for. Because I saw somebody in the chat say, yeah, it goes back to the slave patrol, which yes, policing goes all the way back to the slave patrols, and you'll get the MAGA Caucasian people. No, it doesn't. It doesn't go. But yes, it does. Yes, I did a whole video on this. Slavery goes back to the slave patrols. You know, catching slaves, and then it's a very deep breakdown. So if you haven't watched 40 Acres in the Fool documentary that I did, go watch that. But it's a breakdown of slavery and how the slave patrols used to try to catch the escaped slaves. However, the slaves back then, they knew how to read. A lot of the slaves knew how to read, and so they were able to create their own freedom papers. And the irony is, a lot of the slave catchers could not read. So a lot of the slaves would, even though the slave catchers would catch these slaves, these supposedly escaped slaves, when they caught them, they had forged freedom papers, and so they would show them to the slave patrol, and then be let free anyway. But then the slave patrols, after slavery ended, they moved on to property security, basically for the elite, the aristocrats, or the rich colonizers. And so as industry starts to evolve, they became more and more just property protectors. And then when melanated people got more and more in society, then boom, they put their focus back on the melanated people. But so again, the fear, police officers, or the police, the whole policing thing was created to instill fear inside of melanated people. And we're gonna say melanated people, not regular people, melanated people, or quote unquote what we call so-called black people. So it's no wonder why it's still there. However, for over 100 years at this point, we've been able to overcome it. And there has to be some type of reason why that hasn't happened. And what is that reason? People? What is that reason? Mel?
Trying to see the best way to put this. I guess the best way to put it is some people just have not gotten around to overcoming that obstacle. More of a out of sight, out of mind type of thing. If I don't, put myself in that situation, I don't have to worry about it.
You saying it's out of sight and out of mind, not lazy?
Well, that too.
Lazy. I'm saying lazy. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Stop with the bull crap.
Yeah, and then you got some people that are you got some of those people that think they're on a high level because I'm just in it and not of it.
Well, you mean they think that, oh, as long as the police officers don't touch me, it'll never happen to me, so I don't ever have to learn about the popo?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people think that until it happens to you. And then it's a whole nother ball game.
Absolutely. But that's melanated people's problem. We always think there's nothing that's going to happen to us till it does. And then when it does, we act like, oh, now I got to jump on it. And you 20 years behind, and you act like you got to learn everything now. But you could have been learning this stuff. But even still, a lot of that is only temporary, because when it happens, so we won't learn anything until something happens, and then when it happens, we'll be on that shit for a boom. We be hardcore about it, and then when time smooths over and we kind of forget about the trauma, then we like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to learn this stuff anymore. And then boom, it happens to you again, and then it happens to you again. So it's a pattern. It's a negative pattern that keeps happening within the melanated community. And fear is something that you should never work on. You should never have to move on fear. You should move on enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is divinely inspired. It's to be divinely inspired. That's what enthusiasm is. So some basic things. Excuse me. Hold on. I'm going to the top. So what's the main reason? So the main reason I think melanated people won't learn the law is because they have to be responsible. Let me say that again. When you learn information, you have to now be responsible for that information. And I think a lot of melanated people they fear having to be responsible with that information. And a lot of it is the trauma that we've experienced over time that they may not think it may work. However, I do think that they're fearful of having to be responsible with that information. A lot of us are cool with being in the background of society, chilling on the back end, making fun of Caucasian people who run this shit. But then if we know, then when we become knowledgeable of the system, then you have to now become a part of the system and make it better. You just can't be complaining about all the other stuff that Caucasian people are doing. Now you got to be a part of it. So what do y'all think?
I concur, because when you know better, you should do better. And so, but at the same time, I get the the lackadaisical side of it, whereas they're comfortable, they're complacent. Like Mel said, it didn't happen to me, so that happened over there across the street, and then you don't, it doesn't saturate, it doesn't even come across your radar until you are directly impacted. And I believe the best way to combat that is by learning these laws and learning what's going on in the jurisdiction within where your vicinity is, so that you won't be out here carrying on and making yourself vulnerable and not even knowing it, because like I said, that ignorance is just so blissful to some people. I don't
Yes,
get
it is.
it.
Again, ignorance. Well, people believe if you're ignorant, that means you don't. What's that saying that God protects ignorant people and
Babies.
babies and ignorant people, fools and ignorant people.
Yeah.
So
Fools and babes.
Fools and babies. Right.
so that's what most people think. If I don't know, then I'm protected. Nah, that's not how it works. When you go to court, they tell you ignorance of the law is no excuse. There's nothing you can do when you break the law and you go to court and you be like, well, Judge, I didn't know. Your Honor, hey, my bad, Your Honor. Well, yeah, my bad inside that jail for 6 months. you get that butt inside that cell for 6 months and say I'm bad. So, the main things that most people don't understand about police stop is the three main things is reasonable, articulable suspicion. We have probable cause and something called totality of circumstances. These are like the three pillars of police stop that most people the basics that you should know. And most people think they know that because when you get pulled over, they be like, you ain't got no probable cause. Well, the officer didn't need probable cause. That's not a thing. The officer does not need probable cause to pull you over. They need reasonable, articulable suspicion.
Yes.
Reasonable, articulable suspicion. Yeah. Do you have the graphics, Satora? Where's the RAS graphic? There it goes. So reasonable, articulable suspicion. So again, this is something that was created by the case Terry versus Ohio, 1968. Basically, it says that police officers need to be able to articulate something that you are doing that leads them to believe that you were, are, or about to commit a crime. And that's very important. A crime, not just you're suspicious. So, hold on. Somebody has their mic open real quick. Who is that, Mel? So, real quick. So, that's very important because when police officers pull you over, they'll say, you look suspicious. Well, suspicion is not a crime. And see, they know they have reasonable, articulable suspicion. So all they have to say is you look suspicious. Well, this is what they believe. All they have to say is you look suspicious. And then because that word is within the term reasonable, articulable suspicion, then they gab you because you don't know anything. They do usually. Well, you look suspicious. Say you were walking around in a parking lot around some cars. You were walking around in the parking lot in some cars. Now it's a public parking lot, but you're walking around by some cars, and someone calls the police on you and says, "Well, he was walking around some cars. He looked like he might have been trying to rob the car." Now you weren't doing anything. You weren't doing anything at all, but someone called you and said that you looked like you might have been doing something to the cars. Now, when the police officers get there, even though someone called and said that you fit the description of someone who looks suspicious around cars, they still have to establish when the police officers get there something that you're doing when they get there that leads them to believe that you've committed a crime or you're about to commit a crime. So it's not just, oh, if you got a call, I fit the description. This is what most melanated people fall under. I fit the description or you fit the description, but they don't understand how to explain themselves out of it. So everybody, what does RAS mean to you? And when you first found out about how to explain it to a police officer, to break it down to a police officer.
I'll take it. That's a good
Go ahead.
question.
You know what? Okay, I'll let Ayana have it.
Oh, my brother LR.
No,
But
but I want before you say that though, I just want to go over the first 5 laws, the
mm,
first 5 rules of police stop.
come on, RL. Tell him.
Okay, and this is what we have a problem with. And those 5 rules are: number 1, when you get approached or anything like that with the police, you are to remain calm. Rule
Yes.
number 2 is remain calm.
Yep.
Rule number 3, remain calm. Rule number 4, remain calm. And if you forgot the first 4 rules, rule number 5 is remain calm, because if you act fidgety or anything like that, if you look guilty, they can sometimes construe that to be that maybe you are doing something you're not supposed to be doing. So you shouldn't be nervous. If you're not doing anything, you didn't do anything wrong. You need to get over that fear that they're trying to put you into, that fear mode that I'm here with this badge and this gun. You just need to be calm, because if you didn't do anything, just deal with them like you would any other person on the street or a stranger on the street. Remain calm. That's the first 5 rules. Now go ahead, Ayana. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Exactly.
That was vital info. Yes, yes. And do y'all remember when I first started? I've been in the organization for a year. It took me quite a few months to learn the difference between RAS, or reasonable articulable suspicion, and probable cause. I was mixing the two up all the time.
These are 2 common misconceptions. Yes.
Yes. So I get why you were making sure, and why you always make sure, that when someone starts in the organization, you make sure that they know the difference between the two, because you don't want to be out here looking and sounding like you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Like a YouTube spoiler. Yeah. Talking about what you got what's your PC for pulling me over? And that's sounding silly.
And really, when you do that, you're learning the police officer that you don't know the law.
Don't know.
And
that's
then
right.
They know they can go far as they can go. When you say some stupid stuff right off the bat, the fake stuff that you learned off TV watching what is it, SUV, SVU or whatever. I was thinking SWV.
Yeah,
but no,
SVU.
SVU, y'all watching that bull crap?
Law
and Order and all that crap. You go, I know, I got it now. And then you get out there, you ain't got no probable cause. What you doing? And they be like, oh, this fool's dumb. This fool's dumb. So again, stop watching TV to learn the law. That's the main thing. But somebody have said, should all races study law or just black people? Either way, why? What say you, Eugene?
I state in a nutshell, everyone should know the law. Even if you believe in the Bible, it tells us in there that we should know the laws of the land. So everybody should know the law. Unfortunately, when we were just discussing about the fear, I think a lot of it is conditioning too, because we're not brought up to have that be a paramount conditioning in our life. And we need that, because our ignorance toward that, what we say, ignorance is bliss, but it's only bliss until it's bliss no more. So
exactly.
You really are at a handicap when you don't know. And I wish I hadn't gone so many years not having the comprehensive knowledge. I was aware of it, but there's a difference than, being aware of something and knowing what it is that you need to know. So yeah, everybody should know. It doesn't matter what your ethnicity is.
And I see what they kind of mean, because like, do white people need to learn the law because they believe, most melanated people believe Caucasian people have privilege where the police officers don't mess with them. And one thing you'll see when you enter the police stop law class or Know Your Rights Foundation police stop law class, you'll see Caucasian people get done just as bad as melanated people. Sometimes even worse.
Yeah, they get mangled pretty good. But I think in this society, because of classes, there's a different treatment according to people with means and those who do not have means. You know, we've seen videos where lawyers have to contend with, you know, police officers at a stop. But the difference is because of their standing, what they know, and how they engage the officers when they're approached is different than the person who is at the lower class level and doesn't have that same level of knowledge and understanding. So that plays a big part in it. Class is a very big part in how you're treated.
So absolutely. But most people don't understand that. Well, this is what most people think, that police officers are racially biased. And that's true in a lot of cases. Let me just say that. It's true in a lot of cases. However, police officers are more police biased. They're on the side of police officers more so than any race or anything like that. And their police officers are about their authority being understood over anything else. Like, you better understand that I have the authority over you. This is the first thing we need to establish right from the jump. So no matter what race you are, if you don't establish that from the jump, most of the time you're going to get smashed on. So Caucasian people, we seen a Caucasian lady get her face. She was picking up her kid from school, and she got caught in the wrong car line, and she messed up the car line somehow, and they called the police on her, and they snatched her out of the car and held her face into a mound of fire ants. This is a Caucasian lady, like all Caucasian school, Caucasian cops, everything. Held her face down into a mound of fire ants where she got bit all up. She had like thousands of bites. Messed her whole face. Her face looked like Martin when he fought Tommy Hearns on the show. So melanated people, Caucasian people, definitely they get mangled just as bad as anybody else. Not as much. I would say it's not as often. Let me say that. I will say that it's not as often. However, when it does happen, they do get mangled just as bad, because it is the blue line. It's the thin blue line over anything else. So melanated people, we definitely want to stress you need to learn the difference between reasonable articulable suspicion, or the quick term RAS, and police officers know a little bit when you use the term RAS when they come up to you, when you say they try to detain you and you say, well, what's your RAS? Then they know you not just some regular person, but you still need to be able to follow that up with some information. But you definitely need to know the difference between RAS and probable cause. And probable cause means they have some type of evidence that leads them to believe you committed a crime. Whereas reasonable suspicion is just some articulable facts that are present that leads them to believe that you may have committed a crime. Whereas probable cause entails some type of evidence, some type of small circumstantial evidence that leads them to believe that you committed a crime. So probable cause means evidence, small amount of evidence. No matter what it is, they need a small amount of evidence in order for PC. Whereas, like, that could be eyewitness, some smell from the car. This is all evidence. Or then, whereas RAS is just, they have to basically determine. This is the third pillar of police stop law, is totality of circumstances. What does that mean? Well, you looking suspicious is one thing. They can't detain you on that. But you looking suspicious in a crime neighborhood, those two factors means that police officers can now kind of detain you if you look suspicious, like you may be committing a crime in a crime-filled neighborhood. Then those two things says police officers can detain you for a small brief of time in order to determine if a crime is going on. Okay, so these are the things you have to understand. But and what I mean by you look suspicious, what I mean by that is, like, you got to be like, say you're walking past some cars or something like that, you pulling on some car doors or something like that, or if you're in a high drug area, you're standing on the corner at a weird hour of the morning, like 2-something in the morning, in a drug-filled neighborhood, you might be selling drugs. So police officers can stop you, can stop you and do something like that. But these are the things that you need to know. And if you don't know, police officers have total power over you when these type of things happen. So just a brief, real quick going over. Now, moving along real quick. The reason you need to know most of this stuff is because Trump is going crazy. I talked about this over a year ago, how he was going to go crazy with a police state. Now it's happening. So most people, everybody in here, is Trump using ICE to create a police state? Do y'all think? And so can you put the link in the chat, Sator? And so people in the chat, we're about to put the link in the chat. If you want to come to stage, you want to get in on this conversation, about to put the link in the chat right now. Did she leave? There she go. It should be in there in a sec. So there it is. So that's the link to join if you want to join the conversation and get in on this. But right now, Trump is tripping. Trump is going nuts. He's doing it for Israel, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about right now. We're talking about how do you overcome the police state? The reasons why the police state is happening, that's a whole nother reason. But how do you overcome a police state? Do you still have all of your rights within a police state? Well, yes, you do. But they're going to be, they're going to be much more strict in this police state, and you're going to have to know much more of your rights in order to assert them. So this is where, your lack of information or your apathy for the law will bite you in the butt in the long run. So is Trump using the ICE as his foot in the door to try to get a police state going? Because he knows he can't get a police state going in regular states. He can't do it only in DC. So what it looks like to me is that he's using ICE to try to go in there and establish federal presence within these states. You think he's doing that? Or do y'all think he's just really trying to get ICE out? Which he's also doing that too. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with him on the ICE thing. However, do you think he's using ICE to get a police state in here?
I would say all of the above.
All of the above?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's doing a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and then he's coming around the back end, wrapping it around twice, so it'll be a soft cushion for this, and then the end game is all of this.
Well, absolutely. And I do agree with the person who just said that, who was that? Miss Proper TT said that it's a distraction. Yes, it's a distraction, but it's a distraction you got to deal with. No matter what, it's definitely a distraction you got to deal with. What do you say? Ask Q View. I'm not sure about ICE, but yeah, it seems like he wants to forcefully control everything he idolizes. But that's true. But this police state is for a different thing. What do y'all think? Is he trying to get the ICE in there?
I got a comment on that. I'll say that it doesn't matter who's in office. Trump just happens to be the one that's in office right now. But I think every president that's been in there, and every future president that's in there will always take steps to infringe upon your rights, to infringe upon the rights of the people. Now it's up to us to put them in check. And that's where the responsibility comes back on the people themselves, because every president, no matter what party they're in, has always done something like this. So it's not restricted to one particular party, and that's what people need to understand. It's sort of like they think it's you got the right wing and the left wing. They call it wings for a reason. Wings are on a bird. The bird only can fly in one goddamn, excuse my French, fly one direction.
Absolutely.
They both heading in one direction. You may think they're going one way or the other, but they're really headed in the same direction. And both of them are always doing something to infringe upon your rights. But it's up to the people to put the government in check by way of becoming more knowledgeable about what's going on, getting the better acclimated with civics to see how government functions. Look at these case laws. these rulings and these case laws, and start there. It's not hard, y'all. It's really not. But you have to take that first step, and that's to say that, to admit, hey, this is something I don't know. I need to get better at, because it's going you. And the thing is, the only way we're gonna stop it is we got to start with the young ones. The young ones, the when they 4, 5 years old. You know,
Yes.
start with the Bill of Rights. Tell them, teach them the Bill of Rights or whatever, because by the time they get, you see these people, the stuff in Oakland right now, you got them busting, going robbing stuff. They putting stuff like that on TV, the smash and grab stuff. You need to have these youngsters understanding the consequences of their actions. And if you have a better understanding of the law and how it works, you're less likely to have that kind of stuff happening. You know, I understand people, run into financial situations and stuff like that, but a lot of this stuff is because these children are bored. They ain't bored. They ain't got nothing to do. Get them to learning something.
Absolutely. He said, get them to learn something.
Get them
real
to
quick,
learn something and
real
go
quick,
get it,
really quick. Really quick. If you're trying to come into the stage, you have to have your mic linked. Some people are trying to come to the stage and they don't have their mic linked, so we can't bring you to the stage. So if you're trying to log in to StreamYards, make sure you got your mic linked up, because it can't add you to the stage until your mic is linked. But Eugene, what you think, man? Ice coming?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel like
the Fed coming through ice.
Yeah, but I think we've been in a police state since the 80s, since the Rodney King beating. I mean,
what do you mean?
That time period? Well, when they started coming out with federal or policy enforcers, the black and white squad cars, I always thought that was a federal introduction, for the federal zoning of all states. Because I noticed that when I first saw those vehicles, they didn't have the seal of the state or the county that they were in. They were just black and white squad cars, or all black. So I always thought those were federal vehicles. But I think we're going full-fledged now into the implementation of what a police state is.
So let me just get it back. So there's something called posse comitatus that says the federal government cannot be used, or the federal military cannot be used in the state. It's against the law for them to use federal military as police within the state, unless the state agrees to it first. So that's why when he was trying to come into LA with the Fed and all that, that's why Gavin Newsom sued him and all that. But the federal buildings were being attacked, which is why he was able to bring the Fed in. So like I've said this before in the live stream, Trump is the law bender. Trump is he's the last law bender. He will find the loopholes in the law to get him to do what he needs to do. He doesn't break the law, but he will definitely find the loophole within that law to get through it. So he understands if I call in, an emergency, a federal emergency within certain areas or for certain states, then I can bring the military police in for a small time. Then once I have the foot in the door, then the state I'll work with the state to keep them there, because that's what he did. That's what he did with DC. He just did that with DC. He was supposed to leave after 30 days, but then he worked out a deal to keep the feds in police officer positions while, for indefinitely, actually. It's actually indefinitely at this point. Then he's moving to Tennessee. He's going to do the same thing. So again, is this the plan to implement the military state?
It would be the right course, though.
Why do you say that?
For the purposes of why he's got ICE activated anyway, which is to round up as many of the so-called illegal immigrants in the country. Now, initially, it was supposed to be just those who are, what did he say? Criminals, rapists, murderers of that liking. But now he's just rounding up anybody.
Yep.
So this would be
he is and he isn't. He is, but he's this is the thing. He'll round up like a bunch of criminals, and then you'll be like, you just snatched that dude out the out the kitchen of the restaurant.
Right.
He just took like did you see the African superintendent? This dude's been the superintendent for like 3 years of a city. He was the superintendent.
Oh yeah, that was in Des Moines.
Yeah, Trump just snatched him up.
From Guyana.
From Guyana. So he was the superintendent. He don't give a damn. It's like, nigga, you in here, you here illegally, you going home. So again, he's doing that. But again, is the bigger plan the police state? Because this is the thing that's going around is black fatigue. So they're trying to blame all the crime on black people. So, and so most melanin or Caucasian people feel safer when they see police officers. They feel safer from black people, so-called black people, when they see police officers around. So is this his little way to regain control of the black fatigue situation that's going around? And I'm gonna say this too. I'm not necessarily disagreeing on nigga fatigue. I call it I call it that fatigue. But it's the Y, YN, what they call them, the YNs, isn't that the term for them now today? The YN fatigue. That's what I think it is. But it's a way for them to get the feds into the city. And if you don't understand that, most of the people that they're claiming who commit crimes look like you. So no matter what, you may get caught up in one of these situations, even though they say, "Oh yeah, I'm not doing that." If you're American, blah blah blah. But you can get caught up. You absolutely can get caught up, just like one of the lawyers did. There was a lawyer in DC who was walking down the street, wasn't doing anything. He's a lawyer. Got snatched up by Popo. Shirt was off, everything, shoes was off. He's on the side of the road, looking embarrassed like a mug, and he's a lawyer. So again, this can happen to anybody.
Yeah. Can I address that comment? There was a comment in the chat that came across saying ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's true. But if you learn police stop law, you will learn that ignorance of the law is not an excuse unless you're a cop.
Unless you're a cop, yes.
There's case law that lets them, they can be ignorant of the law and get away with something. But you won't know unless you start learning the law. I'll leave it at that.
No, so yeah, police officers are the only people allowed not to know their job. You understand? Like that's a weird ass thing, right? Can a surgeon go to surgery and not know how to slice somebody? Hell no. They going to jail first off. Then they getting malpractice and all the rest of that. Can you be a truck driver without knowing how to drive a truck? Absolutely not. And 50 other damn things that you get hired for. If you didn't know how to do that thing, you wouldn't be hired for it. Other than being a police officer. That's the craziest thing. You do not have to know the law in order to be a police officer. And that's the crazy thing. And when they violate the law, it goes in their favor. Even though it's supposed to be innocent till proven guilty, it's guilty until proven innocent. And because you don't know the law, you're never able to prove yourself innocent without one of their one of their officers, which is an attorney. An attorney is an officer of the court. So you have to hire one of their officers in order to free yourself. Whereas if you just knew the law, you wouldn't have to get in that position, in that situation in the first place. So the law is what's going to free you from this thing. So, hold on. So real quick. So there's a situation. There's a police stop that we wanted to break down real quick. What'd you say? Homie looked like the character Robert Downey Jr. played in Tropic Thunder. No disrespect. You talking about LR? You talking about LR? when Robert Downey Jr. I can see that. He said no disrespect. So
ain't no offense taken. I appreciate it.
So real quick, we just want to show you what it's like when you don't know the law. And this is a young brother who thinks he does know the law, but this is very important why you need to know the law. Hold on. Wait, which one is this? All right, there it is. All right, so check this out. This is brother walking home from the 7-Eleven, doing nothing, minding his business. This is why you need to learn the law.
Excuse me, for what? What's the
right here? Creating a disturbance.
Creating a disturbance. What disturbance? Matter of fact, you guys came up to me.
Give me your ID.
Do you have an ID on you?
You came up to me. I don't answer questions. You can see you go ask the camera in the store and everything. I got chips and drink in my hand, sir.
Okay, set them down.
All right, I'm trying to set them down. You threw my drink on the floor. For what?
To determine who you are.
Now, you saw they just walked up to him. He wasn't doing anything. They just grabbed him and said he might have fit the description. Again, they have to, just because you fit the description doesn't mean anything. When police officers come up to you, you have to be doing something that leads them to believe that you have committed a crime. Walking from the store with chips and a soda in your hand is not it. Now, they can say, well, you assaulted somebody and we have the description of, that you fit the description of someone that assaulted somebody. Okay. Then they have to run off what the description is. Then they also have to say, excuse me, they have to run off what the description is, who, where it happened, who it happened to, all these different things. These are things that you have to know to ask them when they come up and say you fit the description of a person who just committed a crime. Because if you don't, they'll just kidnap you, just like they're doing this dude right here.
I don't have to tell you who I am. I don't condone the searches or anything.
You're not free to leave because we're doing an investigation.
Being detained.
Yes.
What's the crime? What's on what proper?
So the reason that they're detaining him is because they walked up to him and they wanted his ID. So this is the thing that police officers will always do. When they walk up to you, they always want your ID. Why do they want your ID? Is that going to let them know if you committed a crime or not? Is that going to tell police officers if you committed a crime? No. They're trying to put you into NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center. They want to look and see if you have a warrant. That's really what they're trying to do, because police officers or the police departments in America get $600 million from the federal government to arrest people. So the more people they arrest, the more federal funding they get. So if they can just pull you over and get your ID and see that you have a warrant that you didn't even know you had, you might not even know you had that warrant. But if they can get you on that and arrest you, boom, they can get paid off of that. So this is why they want your ID. It's not going to tell them if you committed a crime or not. So this is why you have to tell them, this is why you have to know that they have to have reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime in order for them to get your ID. And if they don't have it, you don't have to give it up.
Assault. I had assaulted no one. What's going on?
What's your name?
I'm not giving you my name. I haven't done anything.
Oh, okay. Still doing that.
So let me make something very clear.
Shut up.
So we're gonna fast forward. We're gonna fast forward to the video.
How are you? What's going on?
I'm sorry, I don't answer questions. I just stopped at the store, get a drink, and I'm on my way. Excuse me, for what? What's the
Right
crime?
here.
What's the crime?
Creating a disturbance.
Creating a disturbance. What disturbance? Matter of fact, you guys came up
Give
to
me
me.
your ID.
Your body camera on?
Yep.
You came up to me. You came up to me.
Do you have an ID on you?
You came up to me. I don't answer questions. Unless you're taking me to jail for a crime, then I don't answer questions because I did nothing to you guys.
Give me.
You can see you go ask the camera from the store and everything. I got chips and drink in my hand, sir.
Okay, set them down.
All right, I'm trying to set them down. You threw my drink on the floor. What is going on with you guys?
Now, so this is the other thing. A lot of people don't know. Police officers just can't handcuff you because they want to. That's a violation of your Fourth Amendment right. It's a seizure of your person. So they have to have a reasonable, or the seizure of your person has to be reasonable, meaning you have to be doing something that endangers them in order for them to handcuff you. If you're not being aggressive, you're not trying to run. Also, that's another reason. If you're trying to run or flee is the term. If you're not trying to flee, if you're not being aggressive towards the police officers, then there's no reason for them to handcuff you. Period. and that's a violation, and you can sue them for handcuffing you if you weren't doing anything that led to them handcuffing you.
For what?
To determine who you are.
I don't have to tell you who I am. I don't
Lower your
condone the
voice.
searches or anything. I don't consent to any searches or anything. That's shit. That's fine by me.
Give us
Get
your
these
ID.
cuffs off me.
Nope. We're just determine who you are.
I'm sorry.
You're out here screaming in the middle of the street. Yelling at
Did you
people.
see me screaming in the middle of the street?
What's your attitude?
Did you see me? Did you see me screaming in the middle of the street?
I don't even know about.
I said I don't consent to no searches
For
or
our sake,
anything.
if we're patting you down, we're not
I
searching.
understand the patent laws. Yes, I do. I understand the laws very well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You understand you have to. You're failing to provide enough reasons.
Unless I'm being charged with a crime.
No.
Yes.
You're being
Yes.
detained.
This. I will. Take me to jail for it then. I'll gladly go back to trial. I don't care. So, are you guys arresting me now?
You're being detained.
Am I being detained for what crime? I'm being detained for what crime, ma'am?
Identification.
I'm not giving you my identification.
Lower your voice.
You know what? You're right on that. I apologize for that. What?
And also, police officers can't tell you to lower your voice. That's not a thing unless it's like nighttime and it's like 3 a.m. and there's a law that says you can't speak over a certain decibel. And they'll call it disturbing the peace. However, most of the time when you're just talking to police officers, they can't tell you just to quiet down, especially if they're creating a situation that exacerbates or antagonizes the situation where you should be upset. So these are just little things that police officers know behind the scenes that they can piss you off with.
What am I being detained for?
You're being detained. You're out there causing disturbance.
I'm not
trying
causing
to identify who you are.
I literally just saw you. I literally just saw you pull up.
Give us your name.
It was hot. I took a seat.
What's your last
Gave
name?
a little break. I literally just saw you pull up. You do my I'm not fighting you guys or anything. What's going on? What's going on? Wait. You don't have to call my lawyer or something. Because I'm not being charged with a crime. I like to be on my way. I like to be on my way.
Yo, can anybody just tell me?
Give me your ID.
Anybody in the police stop law class, Know Your Rights Foundation, tell me what just happened when the police officers did this. When the police officers just took him and put him in the car, what just happened?
They kidnapped him.
Say it again. Say it a little bit louder.
They kidnapped him.
They kidnapped him. That's not hyperbole. There's a Supreme Court case that says they cannot move you from one place to another without actual probable reasonable suspicion. What is that? What's the case, guys? I'm testing you guys. What's the case? What's the case? Come on, police stop law people.
I know, but I'm going to remain mute.
Say it again. Say it again.
Florida v. Royer.
Florida versus Royer. Royer. Florida.
What year?
That was 83.
1983.
Okay.
So Florida versus Royer.
That's
Florida
our
versus
sister, that's our
Florida.
big sister's
Thank
court case.
So we have somebody in here who wants to get in on the conversation. What is his name?
Mulattoism.
Mulattoism? Is that what it is? Mulattoism?
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
Peace. What's up, brother? How you feeling?
I'm doing well. Hope all is well. And I just came in to suggest that Black Americans and mulatto Americans as well, many of us that are able to should join law enforcement and become judges and DAs, etc., so that we could do the same thing to the whites. Really, I mean, we could. And I'm not suggesting that anyone is crying on the panel. Let me just say that from the outright. But we could cry about it, or we could get even. So I suggest that the blacks that are able to get involved in law enforcement and use these same tactics against the whites. And we need more black DAs and more black judges to protect the Black American law enforcement agents that use these tactics against the whites, just as the whites protect themselves when they use these tactics against us.
Okay. Well, well, I will say that absolutely, I would agree with you on getting involved as far as more melanated people being involved, because us policing ourselves leads to less conflict and less injuries and less deaths, because we know each other. So when we see each other patrolling through the hood. A police officer who knows this young kid, who's come up like this young kid, is not going to have the same, energy towards this kid as a Caucasian person would, who has no interaction with melanated people whatsoever. This melanated cop will know what's going on with this kid, and we've seen it. We've seen it in a lot of different police stops. I would push back on necessarily joining the police. I think what our future is private police forces. I think we should create private police forces, because trying to join their organizations and thinking that you're going to be on some type of equal level when you're joining their organization, it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Let me give a quick response.
Yeah, good.
You have to acknowledge that number one, the law enforcement agents, they are paid by our taxes. That's number one. So even if we don't become the law enforcement agents in our communities, that's saying that the whites, because they will continuously be law enforcement agents in our communities, we'll just fund them to oppress us. Additionally, and this is the point I wanted to make before, it's not just the whites that are joining law enforcement agencies, and being complicit in the mass incarceration against our ethnicity. Now we have immigrant groups, particularly Latinos, Asians, Africans, Caribbeans, etc., that are joining law enforcement agencies and are being complicit in the mass incarceration of descendants of U.S. chattel slaves. So, with all due respect, no, I have to say this. If we don't become the law enforcement agents in our communities, we're just saying, fuck it, pardon my language. We're just saying, all right, you whites, you Asians, you Hispanics, you Arabians, come police us in our communities and oppress our children, mass incarcerate our children. No, they're being paid by our tax revenue. These are jobs that are created by our tax revenue, so we must take them.
Like like I said, I agree with you on the policing. I don't agree with the institution, because you gotta understand those institutions they're rooted in what they're in. And so even when you see melanated people get to the top positions in those societies, or in those, get to the top positions in police forces, you'll see there's still bootlickers. Like the dude who, give you an example. Remember the melanated dude who got punched in the face? The kid who got punched in the face. They broke the glass and they punched him in the mouth. And the police chief was a melanated brother. And he came out and said that cop didn't do anything wrong.
No, I actually agree with the point you're making about the majority of, and I wouldn't even just say law enforcement agents. I would say lawyers, congressmen, etc., that are Black Americans. The majority definitely are coons. I would never deny that. But we have to acknowledge that just as we had Barack Obama, even though he's not Black or American, so that was a bad example. But just as we had, just as we had a Kwesi Nkrumah, or just as we had a Clyburn down in South Carolina, we also had Marion Barry in D.C.
True.
So it's not essential, or it's not imperative, or it doesn't have to be that the elected officials in our communities are coons. It's just that the majority are. So I think that if more of us that are not coons, and I got, full disclosure, I got a felony. So a lot of things I'm advocating for is just that, it's advocacy. I can't do it myself. But those of us that are able to really should fight to become law enforcement agents and politicians within our communities, or I'm gonna be honest with you. If we don't take these positions, we're just literally giving the alley-oop to the foreigners to take over our communities, as they are doing already.
Like I said, I agree with you on the policing. However, we have to think about it in a new way. And I think private policing, because there are a couple of melanated companies who are doing that already and killing it. I don't know if you've seen that guy who does he's urban survival training. I forgot his name, but he does
out of Detroit.
Yeah, out of Detroit. That dude has a massive security company that he partners with the city. See, this is what you need to do. This is what we'll do. Or what we need to do, create companies like his. You partner with the city to police certain communities. And so he's killing it. He has a full police force with with officers and vehicles and weapons and everything. He's really mashing out. He's a great example of how to do that. Even though he looks like he's funny and he's clowning and stuff like that, he really is. His background is really in security and military and stuff like that. So if we can use him as as an example to start creating private police forces, I think that's what what the future will be in the communities. Because again, trying to go through their organizations that are deep rooted, so a lot of them in racism and rooted in, even when you get to the top, that you have to bootlick in order for you to stay in this position. Even though you're right here, you at the top of the game, but then you're not at the top of the game. Even though I have this top position, I know I'm not the top. And that's what that dude, the police officer who had to cape for that cop who punched that brother in the face, he had to come out and be like, yo, I don't think it wasn't, we investigated it and it wasn't an assault. What you mean it wasn't an assault? He was sitting there not doing anything, got punched in the face. So
I hear you. And because I don't want to get caught on this particular point of contention, so
Right.
I'll acknowledge that I agree with you as far as the private policing, but that's actually my point. I don't see it as one or the other. I see it as both and. Because there's another great example out of Chicago, and his name's slipping my mind right now. His first name is Tyrone. I can't remember his last name, but he has community policing force, private policing force called ex-cons, something. And I hope someone in the chat will remember his name and post that name in the chat. So I actually agree with you, but I don't see it one or the other. I see it as, yes, essentially we must create our own, or continue to create our own private policing forces. Additionally, I have to say it, more of us need to get involved in the police departments, the FBI, ICE, Homeland Security, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, and try and attempt to fix the problem from within as well. Now we can say that that's futile, but I mean, I think it's more futile to not even try. But I want to move forward, so, and I appreciate your points.
All right, what do you guys think? You think melanated people need to be in the popo? I mean, be more of the popo and the judges and stuff like that. What do y'all think?
I believe pan mulattoism has some very good points. Yeah, that's how else effectively could we be any more effective if we were on the inside? However, that is dangerous. I mean, we've all seen Deep Cover. We know what happens when you go undercover. You got to play the role. So
Deep Cover
and jive to keep your status. So it may be a dangerous aspect of doing so. I believe that from the outside, how we're doing strategically breaking the law down. I mean, we can do it from outside. We don't necessarily have to be in, but that is not a bad idea. Let me just bring that together.
I don't disagree. I just think that we do need, let me say this, we do need some people in those organizations. We definitely do. Mm-hmm. However, because they are so corrupt in the way that they were put together, it's like trying to stop a train going 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't disagree though.
And we accept felons here at KYRF.
Yeah, you say. But he's saying he may not be able to. He's saying he may not.
Yeah, but you can come over here. I'm just saying that. I'm just
exactly.
Here.
Know Your Rights Foundation for sure. We accept everybody up in here.
Yes, I yield.
I think you're right, Kev. I think you're right. I say you're right, because you can't name that one. You pick any major metropolitan city in the corporate United States, and you pick any of their major departments, any of them. All of them are corrupt. All of them. So, to think that you're gonna go in and be able to change something, it's kind of like you said. I mean, you going into a swamp. you know, and think you're gonna kill all the alligators that's in there.
You're gonna kill all the alligators in the swamp.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna be able to do that. You know, oh, I'm gonna be a good gator.
I'm about to come out with alligator suit, whole alligator suit on this bitch.
Yeah. Now, I like the idea of the brother what the brother's doing in Detroit, because a lot of the places where he's doing this policing happens to be in the areas where our people are. You know, so you have better interaction. You have we know how to talk to each other a lot more, you know, and not be misunderstood, um, than the so-called Caucasian or
Yeah.
white folks, as you like to say. So the interactions are better because we tend to talk with our hands a lot. You know, we get emotional when we talk, and not, a lot of times it's not being hostile. We just a little bit more animated, and a lot of Caucasians view that as being hostile when we're not being hostile, and so we get ended up getting tossed up for something when we're not even being, you know,
Yep.
hostile or viewed as being armed. I'm sorry, as viewed as being potentially dangerous when we're not, you know, when we're not being so. And if it was a melanated individual, they know that, hey, he not, you know, he's not dangerous or dangerous. That's just how we are. We just tend to be more animated than they are. We use our hands a lot more when we talk. You know, we
Yes.
you know, the tone is different. It comes off different, whereas we're not as monotone as they are when we're
They a lot
talking
of
like
yeah,
this.
brothers are passionate when they talking.
Yeah, because you, I mean, you up here, you trying to toss me up. I'm of course I'm gonna say I got something to say about it. You trying to
Right.
toss me up, or, you know, and you accuse me of something that you know, that I'm doing when I'm just sitting here. You know, I mean, so it's a double-edged sword. But I think the brother in Detroit is a good example of a direction that we may need to move into. You know, so, and plus that he can even take that further, and the brother in Detroit, and be able to, you know, start educating and reaching out to the kids more to see, to have better interactions with police officers, so that that fear that that a lot of us have, you know, we can learn how to deal with that from a young age. So I agree with you, Kev,
Okay.
but the brother brought up some good points. I do agree with him to some extent.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, and I say that because I know a dude who had a brother who has the police force in San Antonio. He has, a security force, and they do that. And the police officers, they use him. The police force uses him. Matter of fact, his his own police, he employs his own police chief in his security force. So so off duty, he is funny because he's like one of only like a few brothers in the police department in San Antonio. However, you know, so they are kind of racist in there. He talks about it a lot. But then when he goes to his security, you know, his security business, he's the boss, and he employs a lot of those Caucasian security dudes in his business. And so they have contracts. They have contracts with the cities and stuff like that. And so actually one of his contracts they want, and this is back when Trump first got elected, when everybody was really hating on him, and they wanted him to guard Trump. They would come into Texas, and they wanted his security team also to be part of the security team to help guard Trump. And he was like, hell no, because he hated Trump. But he told him hell no. But that is a good example, though. He was talking about how he does have contracts with a lot of these different cities. So I think that's, you know, that led me to, I was like, damn, if we just start doing, not all, but if we just start doing that and create an alternative to the policing, whereas, you know, they don't always see Caucasian people showing up when we supposedly done wrong, then that's going to just be better, you know, in the long run. So let's get back to let's see what happens to my man real quick.
What's going on? Well, I'm not fighting you guys. Look, ma'am. You do not have to be forceful. I'm not being forceful with you guys. I'm not being. I don't understand what's going on, ma'am. You don't have to be forceful.
Get in the car.
I live here in Denison. I promise you, you don't have to be forceful. You don't have to do this, ma'am. What's going on? What's going on, ma'am? Ma'am, talk to me. Just talk to me. Talk to me. I'm asking you to please talk to me, please. What? This is kidnapping. Wait, you know what's going on? What's going on? No, this is kidnapping. I'm here for my life. What matter now? What's going on?
Relax. All you gotta do is give us your name, man.
What's going on?
If you'll stop yelling, I'll tell you.
You haven't told me in the street.
Now he says all you have to do is give us your name. Now again, they haven't established that they have the authority to ask him for his ID. They haven't established that yet. They haven't established reasonable, articulable suspicion yet. And this is what you get, though, when you don't know how to articulate your rights to police officers.
Let you put handcuffs on me and everything. This is kidnapping.
No, it's not. You're being
Yes, it is. You don't have to use this force. Failing to identify is not a crime unless I'm being convicted suspicion of a crime.
Okay. Stop yelling. Calm down.
I'm calm. Look at you.
You want to talk to my supervisor?
Yes, yes, sir. I do. Yes, sir. What's going on?
Refusing to give me his name. He's causing disturbance.
Literally, so I'm sitting there. It's hot, eating chips and drink that they just put on the floor. I see them pull up. I get up and start walking. Continue on my destination. On Washington Street, which is that way. You guys know this town. I'm from this town. I'm surprised you don't know me. Then they pull up on me, ask me for my name. I immediately said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" They said, "Hey, how you doing? Can we talk to you for a second?" I said, "No, I don't want to talk. I just want to be on my way." That's when they started getting handsy.
So this is him trying to explain to one of the other police officers what's going on. They don't care. Let me just say this right now. They don't give a damn what he's saying right now. Again, because they know he doesn't know what he's talking about. You have to make police officers respect your information, and you yelling and using the law out of context because you got it off TV, you got it off YouTube or something like that. That's just going to embolden the police officer even more. They're gonna stick their chest out way more when they hear you talking that bull crap. They're gonna stick their chest out way more. So they know they have a dummy right now. Now he's not all dumb because a lot of the stuff he's saying is right law, but it's out of context, and so therefore it's wrong. If you don't say the right thing in the right time at the right time in the right place, then it's wrong. So here we go.
I didn't fight with them. I didn't even fight with them to put on the handcuffs. They literally grabbed my hand.
So at this point,
that's what I'm saying. I don't understand what's going on.
So at this point, you're not free to leave because we're doing an investigation.
Well, am I under arrest?
You're being detained.
Being detained?
Yes.
What's the crime? What's the on what probable cause? Assault. Yes. I assaulted no one.
Spit in someone's face.
No, I did not.
Get your feet in there. We're gonna go back down here.
You know, this is kidnapping. Unless you're arresting me, I'd like to be on my way. Or you can call my lawyer, Mr. Marcus Old.
Okay, you can call him later, but you're gonna get back in that car. And we're gonna go down here and finish our investigation.
You can finish your investigation, but you will not kidnap me. You threw my Drake on the ground.
You get back in that car, or I make you get in that car.
Is that a threat?
That is a promise.
So what happened is they're trying to say that he spit in their face, but he had some dirt. He had some dirt in his face after they tried to subdue him. Some dirt got in his face, and he spit the dirt out. And they're trying to say that he spit in their face.
I'm a civilian. I'm a citizen here of Denison. I don't understand what you guys are doing. What is going on? What's going on? Please. I didn't do anything to no one. What's going on? I literally was just coming from the store. What's going on?
What's your name?
What's going on? I'm not giving you my name. I haven't done anything.
Oh, okay. Still doing that.
So let me make something very clear. Shut up. Shut up.
Okay. You don't have to be like that. I've been very clear to you guys.
What you just went doing, I'm gonna be like that. So you need to shut up and listen to me.
You don't have
You're gonna sit in that car.
See right there. If a police officer, again, another law broken by the police officer. If a police officer threatens you to shut up, meaning if they tell you to shut up and you don't be quiet and they do something behind it, like handcuff you or arrest you or something like that, then they have violated your First Amendment right, freedom of speech. You can talk all day. All you want to the police. You can curse them out all goddamn day. You don't have to shut up at all. That's not a thing. When police officers tell you, be quiet. No, I'm not going to be quiet. So if you don't know that, though, you're going to get used by the police officer. You're going to get abused by the police officer.
Or we're going to put you in this. Do you want to be in this?
Look, if you guys,
yes or no? Yes or no?
How about we compromise?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
In the car with no handcuffs.
Yes or no?
Because y'all got an investigation. I understand y'all got an investigation.
You are being
But
detained.
like I said, I'm talking with nobody.
You are being detained. Okay, in the discussion, we're gonna go back down here and complete this.
I haven't.
And you're gonna sit in that car. When we conclude that you have it, we'll cut you loose. It's that
What do you mean? I just told you that. I haven't fought. There's these things on my face. What do you?
So what should he be doing right now, guys? Right now, in this situation, what should he be doing the most?
Shutting up.
Being quiet. He's talking too much. Thank you, man. Thank you. He is talking too damn much. See, when you don't know anything, you shut up. Even if you do know a lot, you should only say certain things. You should only ask questions. when you're being detained by police or an attempted detainment by police, you should only ask questions, meaning pertaining to your innocence or what they have on you and stuff like that. But as far as you explaining something to, don't ever explain anything to the police officers about what happened or what went down. Don't ever do that. They're looking for information to break you down. They're looking for the holes in your argument. They're looking for how you say it. Not even what you say. They're listening for how you say it. If you say it with a shaky voice, or if you start sweating, or if anything, your hands start vibrating, anything. They're looking for that. So they're about to hog tie my man, and he's talking too much.
You mean I haven't fought with nobody? I'm done. I haven't. Why aren't you guys listening to me?
You ain't listening to me.
I am. But I don't see them in the back of cop cars. I don't see them throwing to the ground, being threatened. Is it because I'm black? Is it honestly because I'm not doing anything? You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to. You don't have to. I promise you, you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. I promise you. You don't have to. I promise you, you don't have to. Yeah. What? This is unconstitutional. Oh my head.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna suck your hands. Bonk your head.
I'm sorry. No, there's grass in my face. You don't see that? There's grass in my face. Well, there's grass in my face. I'm trying to get it out of my face, please. Like that. You throw my face in the dirt. And then you turn around when I try to get the grass out my face because I'm in handcuffs out my mouth.
I was trying to put a helmet on you. So
and you claim I spit on you? Are you serious?
You did spit on me. Hey, Smith. I'll get his lower. We're gonna get his lower.
You get his upper?
Huh?
Look at how they embarrassing this dude. They got him hog-tied with a helmet on because they pushed his face in the dirt and he spit out the dirt, and they trying to say that he committed an assault. This is crazy.
Why are y'all doing this to me?
Lower.
Yeah.
His upper.
Get up under his arm.
That was bad. I've never seen y'all do that.
So my parents. So I have Tabitha Ronde and Emmanuel.
So you see who he's accused of assaulting.
My sister's the one that's saying I'm fit this place, not me.
Yeah.
She's at work.
Yeah. And?
Yeah.
Are you where you can call her?
Yeah.
Where's she working now?
Help me in the tree.
Yeah.
So he's accused of assaulting some Caucasian kids with no evidence, and they just went and snatched him up. There's no video, there's no evidence, nothing. But they were able to go snatch him up based off of some hearsay. And not the magnet helmet. That's a shout out to you, LR.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Got to make sure to turn that body camera off.
You came to me as an officer of the law.
Now watch how they have this dude. Watch how they have him. Watch this. Let me fast forward so you can see. Watch this. They got to show him.
The only thing I seen was y'all open the door and start throwing shit on me.
Wait, hold up. We gotta go. Wait, there it is. Hold up.
Yeah, that's what happened. That is what happened.
Wait, look. Hold up. Let me go back. You got to see it. Hold it. Wait.
Yeah, that's what happened. That is what happened.
Look at how they had this dude. That's insane. Are you getting Leah? Appreciate you. Thank you for the cash out. Appreciate you. Now look at that. Because he didn't know how not to make them do this. Again, when they walk up to you and they tell you fit the description, you need to know how to counter that, or you're going to get put in this. How do you again? So people, while we wrap this up, any last thoughts on how to handle something like this?
Well, perhaps if he wasn't running his mouth so much, the spit would have never come out. So let this be a lesson. Everybody watching, just be quiet. Let them do their thing. You can fight in court. You will fight in court. Fight in court. You can't do nothing in front of them with all of that. Look at this man. Look at the young man.
That's crazy, right? Look at this.
They got him hog-tied, harnessed, and
Dude,
his face is veiled. Okay.
The new age hog tie.
So we ain't got time for this. Stop letting them experiment with us. Like, let's just be quiet and keep your peace. Stay calm, like LR said. Stay calm, and stay calm. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this.
Absolutely. Eugene?
Eugene? Look, this is why it's so important for us to learn this, because when you know it and you understand how the interactions should go and how they go in your favor, by being calm and quiet, you can catch everything that they're doing, because each time that they violated his rights, if he had put them on notice, which in a way he kind of did, but if he had put them on notice, stated the case that went with it, qualified immunity goes out the window, because when you say numerous times you violated my rights and I put you on notice, so that shows that you had willful intent to do so. Now when it's recorded and it goes to court, they can't claim qualified immunity because they intentionally kept violating his rights. But you have to know that as well too.
Right. Absolutely. And
yeah,
some comments say it's not. We're not laughing at him. We're not laughing at him. No, don't get it twisted. Nobody laughing at him. We're laughing at this is how we're laughing at the what's the term I'm looking for? Huh?
At the situation.
Yeah, the situation, but just this is a term for what they're doing. I can't remember the term right now, but just how blatant
humiliation,
but that's not it. But that's a good term. Just the blatant humiliation that they're willing to subject him to, like it's nothing.
Yes,
like this is just what we do. This is like some stuff and they don't think about it, and because they don't have to think about it because you don't know how to make them pay. Like Guru said, make them pay. Y'all know about that old Guru song, Gangstar song, make them pay. But so you don't know how to make them pay. And so they'll do this all day. Now, homeboy sounded like he was confident in everything, but he did not know what he was talking about because he probably just he pieced a few things together. But again, you can't do it like this. Mel?
Yeah, he definitely should have shut up long time ago. Right now, when I'm looking at him now, all I think of is another version of Silence of the Lambs.
Oh snap! Oh yeah, with the Hannibal Lecter joint.
Hannibal Lecter,
yeah. That's all he need to do.
Do the Farmer beans.
That's all he need to do right now. That's all he need to do right now.
Oh, you call do the Farmer beans in the Chianti?
Yeah, but yeah, he could have stopped all of this a long time ago if he shut up.
Yes, people don't, and also the reason we're talking a little bit is because he was talking too much.
Way too much.
He was talking way too much. Now, usually anybody who knows somebody who's lying, usually the person who talked too much is usually lying. that's if you ever been around somebody lying, usually know the person who explained too much. Like, give me an example. Netanyahu, when homeboy got killed. When Charlie Kirk got killed, this nigga ain't been, he ain't even made it to the hospital dead. This nigga came out. We didn't do it. What you mean? What you mean Israel did it? We didn't do that shit. What you mean? Huh? We didn't do nothing. It's like, wait a minute, bro. He ain't even at the hospital yet. Why you screaming that you ain't doing it? What you say? Oh, I'm just saying we didn't do it. I'm just letting you know we didn't do it. Okay. So when you talk
I got cookie crumbs on my face, but I
right. Yeah, don't worry about these cookie crumbs. I got them. Don't worry about these. They got all on your head and shit. What cookie crumbs? So yeah, that's what we talk about. Again, you will learn in a lot of these situations. You definitely want to be quiet because you have no obligation to aid the police officer in their investigation. Just so you're clear, you have no obligation. They can ask you questions all damn day. You don't have to answer one. I mean, other than if they have actual reasonable articulable suspicion, you do have to answer you have to give your identification, but you don't have to give it physically. You can just tell them your name and address. So you don't have to have a physical ID on you. That's not a thing. So if you can walk down the street, you don't have to have your papers on you. This ain't Germany and shit. Excuse me. But when you're walking down the street and they ask you for your papers, you don't have to have an ID on you at all times. However, if you do, if they do have reasonable suspicion on you, you do have to give up your identification, either verbally or physically. Ayana, last words?
You know, it's just pains me. I'm looking. I didn't notice this when we watched this video before, but he's bare feet. They took his shoes.
Yeah, they took his shoes off and everything. They embarrassed him.
Who's ever? I don't know who's who's watching and who knows that metal that they have behind these brick walls. It's like cold metal.
Oh, you said they got him laying on that?
Well, his feet is up against it, and that messes with your mental state. You know, we also have chakras in our feet. So I'm seeing that they know they got him in a trick bag right now.
They do.
And I was just so perturbed. That's why I was looking like that. I'm just like, what is this? I didn't even see this, that his feet are like totally exposed. Not to the earth. He ain't earthing. He's not grounding. That's
he's not grounding.
No, sir. So anyways, last words. KYRF has changed my life. I am now always looking with the legal eye. I even, like, when I'm out at the stores and shopping and whatever, when I'm with my family members, we always talk about law. Okay. And they bring me their questions and everything. Not that I'm, all ready to go practice my own law firm and everything, but I'm just saying knowledge is power, and you don't have to feel like you are so powerless every time you see those boys and girls in blue. You too can feel empowered, or at least be balanced, make yourself whole, and come on to KYRF and learn this law.
There you go. All right. Satora, I know you didn't say anything most of the time. You want to give us some last words before you get out of here on this one?
Tora the Great.
I'm loving that background, by the way.
You got to unmute, Satora.
Okay, yes. I was just saying I was so excited to be here, and I'm so happy for the 115 people that are still here and alive with us, because you all are the reason why we're doing this. We know you all, a lot of you know this information, so just come be a part of the organization so that the people in your community can get the same information that you already know, and we can share it with each other, because the world is changing. Or the people in the world are changing. Like my grandmother would say, nowadays, the world's been the same world, but the people are changing. So we got to be more in tune and aware of what's going on. And it starts with knowing the law. Law and finances were the biggest things one of my elders always told me to learn about. But again, I'm so excited for the people that are here, that are getting this information. And I'm sure you're going to tune in with us all the time, because, again, this is a great organization. We're here for everyone, all people, all races, because we all live in this country. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Satora. The producer of the LawCast. So yes, guys, this is the first one of these. This is on the fly, rather choppy, whatever. I'm real Naga, so it's gonna go how it goes. The first time we'll get better at these as we do them, but we'll be doing these every Friday at 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern time. If you're in the middle, you got to do your own math. I don't know what that is, but every Friday at those times on the East and West Coast. And hope you guys tune in, because we need to put more of a spotlight on people learning the law, because this police state, we're only 8 months into Trump's presidency. So you got another 3 years to deal with him mashing out with police. And it's going to get worse, because he is a true police officer loving president. And so he believes in giving the police officers the most amount of power, so they can do whatever they need to do to keep him safe. that's really to keep all the people like him safe. So that means the people who look like us, we're on the chopping block. So you need to get out here, learn your rights, get over to kyrf.org/volunteers, learn your rights for free. We're teaching you for free so you can get in here, and maybe you can be on the LawCast as well. So appreciate you guys for joining us. Thank you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
My last word, Cal.
Oh, you did? I thought you got my bad. Go ahead, but go ahead, brother. I thought you did. Oh, my bad.
No, I was gonna give my synopsis to the video. I just want
to go ahead, man.
One, I think in the beginning, the brother, I ain't gonna say he was turned up. He might have been on a scale of 1 to 10 about a 6. And
you mean when he came and grabbed his?
When he came and grabbed him, when he came right before, when he walked up to him, because he first should have established. My mistake was, I think his mistake was number one. You didn't establish. You should have said, okay, am I being detained? That's number one. You need to find out if you actually are able to walk away from the interaction. Now, once you know you're being detained, then you start flexing your rights. Because if they're detaining you, you got a right to remain silent.
Yes.
And not help them with the investigation, and stand on that. At that point, the officer would have had to articulate whatever he suspected him of doing, and then he could either decide to rebut it, but at all cases, like it's been said, you don't help him out with the investigation. If he would have remained calm, he may not have gone into his handcuffs. I can't see that he wouldn't have gone into his handcuffs, but he would have decreased the chance of it happening, But in some cases, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. But at least they would have got it on camera that this officer did not articulate a reason, to put him in the cuffs. And then that was right off the rip a violation, and he could be paid, not to mention other stuff with threatening him, telling him to shut up while he's wearing the badge and the gun, because that's a violation of your First Amendment right there. Yep. So, y'all, my thing is this: start with the Bill of Rights. If you're gonna start somewhere, start with the Bill of Rights. You have rights. Know those rights. Get in here, learn this stuff. Remain calm, remain calm, remain calm, remain calm, remain calm at all times. Don't turn up. You know when you turn up? When you get that 2-car garage out of them.
Yep.
That 2-car garage, that's when you turn up. You turn up then. Once you hit that bond.
Absolutely.
Other than that, remain calm at all times. Don't give them a reason to consider you dangerous.
Yep.
That's all I got. That's all I got, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. He's absolutely right. The first things you should always remember is to remain calm. Police officers are called peace officers. So when you get out of control, then that allows them to institute the peace. They get to do whatever they need to do in order to bring the peace back, right? So, but if you stay calm from the jump, then that puts them out of their comfort zone because they don't know what to do after that. They don't know how to be diplomatic and to diplomatically handle some shit, which they're supposed to. They're supposed to know that and how to do that. They're supposed to be de-escalators as far as the situation. They're supposed to know how to de-escalate the situation. However, they don't. They only know how to turn up. So when you don't turn up and you leave them like, oh, well, I don't know. So LR is absolutely right. Don't turn up, stay calm all the time, and then you see where it goes from there. Because police officers, when they don't have a reason to be angry and mean, then they just look dumber when they do that. And then you take them to court and sue them. And that's like LR said, you get your 2 and your 3-car garage. So just keep that in mind. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in with us on this Friday night, this impromptu live stream of the LawCast. But we'll be doing this, like I said, every Friday. So hope you guys tune in. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the Real Nagas or the Naga News live stream. I'll at y'all tomorrow. Thank everybody for tuning in. Thank everybody all in the chat. Appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.
Yep.
Peace.